I never expected one wrong answer to rewrite my entire life. Rain lashed the windows of my cramped Wicker Park apartment like it wanted inside. It was past 2 in the morning. The kind of hour where every shadow felt personal. My phone lit up on the nightstand, an unknown Chicago number. I'd just hung up from another exhausting fight with my ex. The kind that left my chest tight and my eyes burning. Without thinking, I grabbed it. Hello? The voice that slid through the speaker was low. Velvet over steel. Unmistakably female. The deal's closed. No more running. You're mine now. My breath stalled. The room tilted. I pulled the phone away. Stared at the screen like it might bite me. Who the hell is this? Silence answered first. Then a soft. My spine. You'll find out soon enough. Sweetheart. The line died. I sat there in the dark. Heart hammering against my ribs. The rain the only sound left. I blocked the number. Told myself it was a wrong number. A prank. But sleep never came. By morning the city looked the same, gray sky, wet sidewalks. The L train rattling overhead, yet everything felt watched. My name is Alex Rivera. 27. Barista at a corner cafe that smelled perpetually of burnt espresso and wet umbrellas. I spent my nights chasing freelance photography gigs and pretending I wasn't still licking wounds from a relationship that had slowly choked the air out of me. I didn't do drama. I definitely didn't do dangerous. 3 days later the text started. Unknown number again. We should talk. Then another black SUV appeared across the street. Windows tinted so dark they swallowed the streetlights. I told my best friend Mia over cheap wine at her place. She laughed at first, then her smile faded when I showed her the messages. Change your number. Seriously. I did. It didn't matter. The following Friday I was wiping down the cafe counter after close. The bell above the door jingling softly. She walked in like she owned the rain itself. Tall, maybe 5'10", charcoal suit tailored sharp enough to cut glass. Dark hair swept back from a face that could stop traffic and start wars. Her eyes found mine immediately, deep brown, almost black. The kind that saw everything and gave nothing away. Alex Rivera, she said. Voice exactly the same as the phone call. No question in it. Devon Vale. I gripped the rag tighter. Knuckles whitening again. The scent of her hit me next, leather. Dark vanilla. Cold steel. My pulse spiked. How do you know my name? She leaned one hip against the counter. Calm as if we were discussing the weather. Wrong number. Else. But your voice, a faint smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. I had to know who answered. I should have screamed. Called the cops. Instead I just stared. Caught between fear and the strangest pull I'd ever felt. She didn't look like a mafia boss. She looked like the kind of woman who could ruin you and make you thank her for it. That night she left me her card, thick cream stock. Only a phone number and elegant black script. I didn't call. Outside my building. Umbrella open against the drizzle. Offering it to me without a word. I took it. Before she spoke. I run things most people pretend don't exist, she said quietly. But I don't hurt civilians. Not unless they ask for it. I laughed, short and shaky. And I'm supposed to believe that? She stopped under a street lamp, light catching the sharp line of her jaw. Believe what you want. But I've been thinking about that phone call for days. Your voice, it didn't sound afraid. It sounded like someone who might fight back. Something warm and terrifying uncurled in my chest. I kept walking. We started meeting like that, accidental on purpose. A late-night coffee she paid for before I could reach my wallet. A walk along the river where the wind carried the smell of lake water and diesel. Each time the space between us shrank by inches. Her hand brushed mine when she passed me a paper cup. I didn't pull away. The third time we met, she asked about my photography. I told her about the abandoned warehouses I loved shooting at dawn. The way light sliced through broken glass like forgiveness. She listened like no one else ever had. Head tilted. One night the rain came down harder. We ducked into a tiny jazz bar I'd never noticed before. The kind with low lights and a saxophone crying in the corner. We sat at a high top near the back. Her knee rested against mine under the table. Neither of us moved it. You're not what I expected, she murmured after a long silence. I traced the rim of my glass. The cool condensation slick under my fingertip. What did you expect? Someone who'd already be running. I met her eyes. The music wrapped around us. Slow and aching. I don't trust anyone, I said. The words slipping out raw. Not anymore. Devon's expression didn't change. But something softened behind her eyes. She reached across the table and covered my hand with hers, warm. Steady. Noticed before. Then let me be the exception. My breath caught. The world narrowed to the press of her skin. The low hum of the bass. The way her thumb brushed once across my knuckles like a promise. I didn't pull away. After that the touches lingered longer. A hand at the small of my back guiding me through a crowded market. Fingers tucking a strand of hair behind my ear when the wind stole it. Each one left heat blooming under my skin. I started counting the hours until I saw her again. We were on the roof of her penthouse one evening. How I got there is a blur of champagne and her low laugh, when she finally opened up. The city glittered below like scattered diamonds. She leaned on the railing. Shoulders tense. I didn't choose this life. It chose me after my mother was taken out by a rival family. I built everything so no one could ever touch what's mine again. I stepped closer. Cheeks. And what exactly am I to you? Her gaze dropped to my mouth. Then back up. The first thing in years that feels like it could be real. The space between us disappeared. Her hand cupped my face. Thumb stroking my cheekbone. I leaned in first. Our lips met, soft at first, then deeper. Tasting like rain and want and the edge of something dangerous. She sighed into my mouth. The sound low and hungry. And I felt it in every nerve. My fingers tangled in her jacket. Pulling her closer. The city faded. There was only the heat of her body. The faint scent of her cologne mixing with mine. The way her heartbeat matched the frantic rhythm of my own. We didn't stop at the kiss. Nights blurred after that. Her bed was white and dark. Sheets cool against fevered skin. She touched me like I was something precious and breakable at the same time, reverent, possessive. I traced the scars on her ribs. The ones she never explained. And she let me. In the quiet after. Her head on my chest. She whispered. Didn't answer. Not yet. But the real world never stays quiet. 2 weeks later I walked into her office unannounced, high-rise downtown. Glass walls overlooking the river. She was on the phone. Voice clipped and cold in a way I'd never heard. Handle it. I don't care how much blood it takes. She hung up. Saw me. Place. Too late. I stood there. An oil thick in the air. What was that? Devon crossed the room. Tried to pull me close. I stepped back. My world. The one I told you about. She showed me then. Files. The kind of things that made my stomach turn, protection rackets. Quiet threats. Feared because it had to. Not cartoon evil. Just survival dressed in tailored suits and moral gray. I keep people safe, she said. Voice tight. Including you. I laughed. But it cracked. By owning them? Her eyes flashed. I never forced you. That first call was a mistake. Everything after that was us. The silence stretched, heavy with everything we hadn't said. I could feel the pull, the way her presence still made my knees weak, the way her laugh lived in my bones now. But the fear was louder. I'd spent years clawing my way out of one cage. I wasn't sure I could survive another. Even if the bars were made of silk and longing. That night we fought. Not loud. Quiet and devastating. You want me to choose between you and the life I built before you existed, I said. Standing in her kitchen while city lights painted the walls gold. My voice shook. I don't know if I can. Devon leaned against the counter. Arms crossed. I'm not asking you to become me. I'm asking you to let me protect what's ours. I closed my eyes. The memory of her mouth on mine warring with the image of those files. And if I say no? She crossed the room slowly. Stopped inches away. Her hand hovered near my face but didn't touch. Then I let you go. Because I won't be the next person who traps you. The words hung there. I wanted to lean into her. I wanted to run. Instead I stepped back. 3 days passed in a blur of empty coffee cups and unslept nights. I photographed the city like it might disappear, graffiti alleys. The curve of the lake at dusk. Anything to keep my hands busy. Mia asked what was wrong. I couldn't explain. On the 4th night my phone rang, her number. I answered before I could stop myself. Meet me at the bridge, she said. No hello. Frayed at the edges. Please. I went. The wind off the Chicago River whipped my coat around my legs. She was already there. Leaning on the railing. Collar up against the cold. When she saw me her shoulders dropped. Relief plain on her face. We stood side by side. Not touching. The water below reflected broken city lights. "I've been thinking about that first call," she said finally. "How one wrong number brought you into my life. I keep waiting for the moment I regret it." I swallowed. "Do you?" "Never." She turned to me, eyes bright even in the dark. "But I won't ask you to burn your world down for mine. I love you too much for that." The word landed soft and devastating. Love. Not ownership. Love. I reached for her hand. Our fingers laced. Cold from the wind but steady. "I love you too," I whispered. The truth of it ached. "But I need to be me. Not yours. Not owned." Devon's breath left her in a long, shaky sigh. She pulled me close, forehead resting against mine. The scent of her filled my lungs, leather, vanilla. "Then we figure it out. Slow. No more shadows unless you ask for them." We kissed there on the bridge. Slower this time. Full of everything we couldn't fix in one night. The wind carried our sighs away. It wasn't perfect. Her world would always hover at the edges, dangerous, complicated, real. Mine would stay messy and ordinary and mine. But when we walked back toward the lights, her arm around my shoulders and my hand in hers, I felt the tension ease for the first time in weeks. We weren't fixed. We weren't safe forever. We were choosing anyway. Some nights I still wake to the memory of that first phone call. Heart racing. Until her arm tightens around my waist and her voice, husky with sleep, murmurs, "I've got you." I believe her now. Not because she owns me. Because we chose each other. And in this city of wrong numbers and second chances, that's enough.